When we wanted to send the details to the agent told us to stick it up our ass.
The great Bobby Belt.
Bobby knows ball. Hey, let's talk ball. We're the ball knowers and we just talk ball. Just talk.
That's right. Jon Machota's here, so we're going to do the ball knowers of the round table instead of below the belt. Sean doesn't like that intro that I made. I just made it kind of on a whim while we were in Oxnard. It's pretty good, right? Catchy?
I don't know if I'd say it's good. It's all right.
I didn't say I dislike the intro. I hate the phrase when I hear Romo go, let's talk ball.
This is a pet peeve of his. He hates the, referring to things like, oh, we're talking ball, or, they really like ball. And blah. He's just like, it makes him roll his eyes.
Cringy. I don't have that.
It's fair.
Mushiness.
So he's with you on this.
If I came up to you at a bar and I'm like, Jon Machota, The Athletic, oh my God, the Twitter account. Yeah, John, let's talk some ball. You'd roll your eyes a little bit. Let's talk ball. Just that phrase. I'm just talking about the phrase.
Yeah, I guess.
Only Jason Witten can say that, I think. The secret's in the dirt.
Okay.
The secret is in the dirt.
The secret's in the dirt.
100%.
All right, so we got some Tolos. This is Jerry Jones on Michael Irvin's podcast for an hour yesterday saying when we agreed on everything, highest guaranteed money for a non-quarterback in the NFL, and we wanted to send it over, and David Mulligetta said, stick it up your rear end. Multiple people got a hold of Mulligetta. He said, I did not say that. Cowboy Kenny in Spokane said, you guys need to listen to something. Jerry, he offered more money than even what he was going to. Jerry saying, I moved off my marks. He was offering to bring him into the family as well. John, when you hear I made him the offer that was the most guaranteed non-quarterback money in the league, you think what?
Well, I think that then it doesn't, that none of that, like when Jerry says it, it's kind of like he says in the documentary about how you have to say $1 million and let it roll off your tongue. Like he says that when we're all just like, yeah, so then that means he just would top TJ Watt like we all expected. Like that's not really like, just like the constant like, I made Dak the highest paid player in the league. Yeah, no, but there's other players that are in that neighborhood that teams are still finding other ways. It doesn't mean like, oh, I did that, now there's nothing else left to do. So that, to me, is a little bit of the businessman in there saying that stuff, like making it sound like, but now he could give the exact numbers, and I just don't see Jerry being like, he just is blowing it out of the water. Like, this is just the craziest contract. I don't see him doing that.
Yeah, I think Jerry, is technically right? The highest guaranteed money right now, non-quarterback, is $123. So when he says that, he knows some fans are going to be like, what the hell, Micah? Mm-hmm. There's the most. But my immediate thought is, what's the APY? What's the number of years? That has to be signed off on as well.
And this is also, I think it was 2018 when they were negotiating with Cantor on DeMarcus Lawrence. And the report came out, it had come out from like 3 different national people in the same day, I feel like. And it's something like, the Cowboys have offered to make DeMarcus Lawrence the highest paid defensive end in football. It's like, look at, and everybody's like, what? Why are you rejecting this, DeMarcus? And then you come to find out later, it's like, that's because they weren't counting Von Miller and guys like that who are linebackers to them. And so they were saying, defensive end, which would have actually made DeMarcus Lawrence like the 8th highest paid pass rusher or something like that. And so there's also a little bit of this nuance that I wouldn't be surprised if it's in there. Just like, I said this. And then if David Mulligetta or somebody else wanted to talk about it, they'd be like, yeah, but what he's not telling you is these details are, he kind of left that off a little bit.
No question. Guarantees has always been the first one I've thought of. With you look at the contracts that David's gotten done, that's the one that, if you're not giving me the exacts on that, that could be like a guarantees up to this point, and all of a sudden it's like a 3-year deal instead of a 5. There's a lot of gray area there. The other one with me is I wonder if there's some stuff in there that maybe it's being at the facility this amount of time. Things like kind of the stuff that you see with the Diggs thing that caused some issues about where you're working out in the offseason, the time spent around, stuff like that, that maybe what he's asking for, maybe that's something that David doesn't do with clients. There's like a lot of little things like that. You can say the years, you can say the average, you can even say it's a lot guaranteed, but there's a lot of details in there that I could see holding this thing up and making it's not as close as you think.
Are you surprised Micah keeps showing up every day?
I am, yes. And after this interview, I would not be surprised if he doesn't show up tonight. That'll be
great drama.
Like I was just telling Bobby in the break is that, I feel like I've been watching Micah Parsons more at practice than watching practice, and I wish I didn't do that, but, there is a little bit of, is he talking to this person? What is he doing? And I wish I could just focus on football, But that is part of my job because that is the biggest story with the Dallas Cowboys. I can't just bury my head in the sand and being like, I'm just here to talk football. Like, I'm going to do that, but that's the biggest story right now. And that was the thing at training camp too. And now he's not wearing his jersey. Now the jersey's on, but he's got one arm out. Then he's not there. Where is he at? Getting back treatment, so there's all of that.
Do you think if Micah could do it over again, he would not have reported at all?
Wow, that's a good question.
Because Florio's blaming that as the biggest difference between like Zeke and Lamb, that they didn't show up, that helped them versus Micah making the mistake of showing up.
Yeah, I will go off of this. I think that's part of it. But for me, number one, I got to go back to the post on August 1st. I think that's the one that takes it to another level. That where you're going to put those details in there and talk about how you don't want to be here anymore and that you don't want to be confined to these type of negotiations, like to air that out like that. I don't think that was the greatest of things to
Jon
do.
Machota, The Athletic, here on 105.3 The Fan, the rest of the way. What would you do right now today if you were Jerry, and where is trading Michael on that list? Because you said last segment the Cowboys are missing the middle. They're missing the depth, right? They're missing those layers. What would you do?
Am I Jerry as I am Jerry Jones, or I am myself being Jerry Jones and I'm running the team?
You're yourself running.
Oh, I'd call Dave Mulligata. We'd get something figured out. Like I would just get my biggest thing on all of this is that I'm trying in that position to set Brian Schottenheimer and this young coaching staff up with the best chance to have success, and that would be the least amount of distractions. That's me as myself. But Jerry Jones, I don't think likes things just going smoothly. Like I really do. I compare Jerry Jones to is it's the dad in Talladega Nights where they go out. But then they go out to dinner and everything's going well and he's got to do something to mess it up.
Yeah.
Because and I'm not saying necessarily mess it up in Jerry's case, but it's I got to do something to kind of give it a little bit of a spin to kind of make it stand out. It can't just be the winning stuff, because I've always maintained, as much as I don't want him to do this because I love him talking to us, Mark Cuban set out really the blueprint in 2011. If Jerry wants to show that he's just all about football, he would stop talking. He would not do any, and he's not there available after every game. People think that he's not.
Never on the road, really, right?
And less every year. And he doesn't do it after preseason games. So if he dialed that stuff back, those actions would speak way louder than words.
To that point, we've got the clip. Do you want to play the clip of Jerry telling the story about Gene talking to him the night that he let Jimmy go?
To what point was that?
That was where he's talking where she's laying there.
No, I know the clip.
Yeah, where it was right after he had let Jimmy go. Was that later that day after they announced Jimmy was gone?
Sure.
Okay, this is Jerry talking about going home that night. This is in The Gambler. Jerry talking about going home that night and Gene waiting for him and talking to him.
If I'd have stayed with the Cowboys, I'd have been miserable. And I'm no good to anybody if I'm not enjoying it. Then it was time for me to move on. I come home that night and get in the bed. Gene's laying there, not looking at me, just looking at the ceiling. She says, you just can't help it, can you? You just can't live with going good. I said, you just can't do it. I said, here we are, won 2 Super Bowls, and you walk out there and make a change with the coach. You just can't handle some solid, really good times. Now, I usually say that smiling and laughing at her. I don't know why right now that I'm getting sensitive about it.
Is this an instance of Jerry can't just leave good alone, or do you think to him at this point it's like no lines have been crossed? This is not an example of just I'm being picky and I'm looking for something. Like in this instance, I've been disrespected and this can't just be allowed to stand.
Yeah, no, I get that. When I listen to that though, I have to just say that, there's people that are going to watch that or hear that and they're going to think that he just can't have things go well. I don't believe that. I believe he's wired that way because going through all of his life, he's probably done things when things are going well, did this other thing, and then they went really, really well. And when I'm saying that, a lot of people just think of him as football Jerry Jones. I'm talking about oil and gas. I'm talking about real estate, things where people be like, you got enough on your plate right now. Don't worry about this real estate deal. And then all of a sudden it blows up and it's like one of the biggest investments he's ever had. He's had successes off of that.
Yeah.
That's why he is like this. I will always believe that.
I totally agree. He's like, I've mastered these other things that I was new to. I'm going to master being a football general manager. Same thing. And then the ego and the stubbornness and then winning without Jimmy keeps him in it, I think. All All right, John, dealer's choice of the documentary, Netflix, Shoddy and Season Outlook, or Who's on the Bubble Tonight? You pick.
Oh, the Netflix.
Just give us your overall thoughts of the top things that jumped out.
So the way I feel about it is so different the way than the fans have been watching it and feeling about it, because like I told you in the break, there isn't a Jerry interview in the last 15 years that I haven't listened to. You know, anytime he's on your guys' station, anytime after games, even if I was to miss one, I go back and listen to all of it. So there's, you know, and Michael talks a lot, and Troy talks a lot, and I am of the belief that they're not saving stories for documentaries, that they've told most of these stories. So
yeah.
For me, the first 7 episodes, there's not a lot of surprise for me. Very well done. You absolutely should watch it. Episode 8 is the one for me because it is really the bridging the gap between those 90s Cowboys to now. So I got the first 7 episodes sent to me early when I was out at training camp by Netflix. Watched them. It's under an embargo deal that you can't write or post anything off of them until it publishes. And then I got the final one sent to me. And like, so when I'm through those first 7, I'm just like, yeah, this is pretty good, whatever.
Yeah.
But I constantly found myself fighting the whole, like the gold standard to me, and it's not even close, is The Last Dance. And I'm like, the reason it's so great is because you don't ever hear from Michael Jordan. And so many of these moments you're just captivated by.
Yeah.
So just because I've heard Jerry say this stuff doesn't mean everybody else hasn't. So for me, again, the way it starts out with him in the helicopter, give me a full episode of just him in the helicopter. That's how you get salting in the McGriddle. That's how you get all that little random stuff that he's so great with.
That's
that I would have loved. If you give me the sheet of paper of just basically, hey, we're going to get Jerry at the oil rig. We're going to get Jerry on the helicopter.
Grave site.
We're going to get the grave site. We're going to get him hunting.
Family cabin.
Family, all of that.
Totally.
I would have been like, oh, I hope they do all this. Now I get it. They're trying to condense it and everything like that. But it is great. You definitely should watch it. A couple of my other takeaways. Surprised that Jason Garrett wasn't in it. I thought that he fits all of the different parts. He would have been great. I would love to know more on, and I plan on asking Jerry this now eventually, is I want more details on that golf course meeting with Tom Landry. You know, he gave a little bit more in here saying it got emotional. I'd like to know how emotional. Like, how was Tom Landry? Because from afar, the only thing I know of Tom Landry is being completely stoic.
Yeah.
So when he says emotional, I thought that was really interesting. Them having a parade out here for Tom Landry is wild to think about that. I did not know that.
Yes.
I found that very interesting. I also found it, I don't know if other people pick up on this or not. It struck me as if his parents' home has been kept the exact same. Like almost like we have cleaning people that go in there, but you don't move anything. It stays exactly the way it was.
Yeah.
And that's fascinating to me because you can't do that unless you're wealthy. Yeah. You know, I mean, you just get to a point where like, I love mom and dad's old place, but we got to part with. I thought that was really fascinating. And then one of my other big takeaways is that I've always been a person that said that the yacht is always more of a gene thing. And this has proved it even more because you're not going to have one shot you're not going to do some type of drone thing. They're not going to be any part of you on this massive yacht that you have. So that has always been a thing for me too, that like Jerry loves it. He has it, but that's not really his thing. His thing is hunting, the oil rigs, the football side more than it is being on the yacht.
Jon Machota in studio with the gold we knew he would produce here on Shan and Bobby.